understood the structure and function of an ecosystem, let us now see types of ecosystems. Ecosystems are of two main types. First, natural ecosystems, and second, artificial ecosystems. Natural ecosystems operate by themselves without interference by man. So, man will not interfere in their functioning majorly. These are further categorized as terrestrial ecosystems and aquatic ecosystems. Terrestrial ecosystems, these are land-based communities of organism. That means those ecosystems that are found on land are said to be terrestrial ecosystems. So, what are the examples of terrestrial ecosystems? Forest, grasslands, desert. These are the terrestrial ecosystems. Then, second type of natural ecosystem are aquatic ecosystems. Aquatic ecosystems mean water-based communities or communities those are found on water habitats. Again, these are classified as freshwater ecosystems and marine ecosystems. So freshwater ecosystems, they include streams, rivers, running springs. Since the water in these ecosystems is flowing from one place to other, these are known as lotic ecosystems. Remember the term lotic means the ecosystem or the freshwater ecosystems where the water flows from one place to other. Whereas the water in ponds, swamps, puddles is stationary or non-moving from one place to other or non-flowing from one place to other. Therefore, these are known as lentic ecosystems. So lentic means a body of standing water. Ponds, swamps, puddles, they fall into lentic ecosystems. Then these were the aquatic freshwater ecosystems. Aquatic marine ecosystem includes oceans and seas. Then the next type of ecosystem are artificial ecosystems. Artificial ecosystems are maintained artificially by man. So he interferes by addition of energy and planned manipulations. So by addition of energy means by introducing some organisms, foreign plants that are beneficial. Plant manipulations means in a cropland he adds inorganic fertilizers like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. You must have seen a greenhouse, which is a completely manipulated um system where the nutrient supplies are regulated, temperature, pressure, everything is under a controlled environment. So these are the artificial ecosystems. Terrestrial ecosystems. So let us first discuss natural ecosystems. First are terrestrial ecosystems. So the ecosystems that are found on land are known as terrestrial ecosystems. The first example is forest ecosystem. An ecosystem which is dominated by trees is known as forest ecosystem. Trees are the dominant producers in this ecosystem. Different forests exist in different regions of the earth. Previously, we had seen a diagram where it was shown that sun's light falls directly at the equator. And as we move away from the equator, other regions they receive sun's light at an inclined angle. Therefore, different climatic zones are formed. Because of these different climatic zones, different types of forests also exist in different regions. At 0 degree latitude, which is equator, and about 5 to 10 degrees north and south, one can find equatorial forests. As we move away from the equator, that is between 10 to 30 degrees north south, we find tropical and subtropical forests. Then further away, that is between 30 to 60 degrees north and south of the equator, we find temperate forests. Between 60 degrees to 90 degrees north and south of the equator, we find boreal forest. They are also known as taiga. And at 90 degrees, we get tundra vegetation. So the tree community or different species of trees are found at different regions on the earth. You must have heard evergreen forest. This term, evergreen forest. Trees that retain their leaves for longer duration are known as evergreen trees. And the forests which have these trees are known as evergreen forest. Also, in evergreen forest, the stratified arrangement of trees can be seen. That means trees of different height can be found in evergreen forest. Then you must have heard this term deciduous forest. Deciduous forests have trees with broad leaves. Okay, the leaves of these trees are broad, and also during a particular season in a year, that is fall, they shed their leaves. Then you might have heard coniferous forests. Coniferous forests have trees with needle-like leaves, and instead of flowers, these trees have cones which contain the reproductive structures. So every type of forest have certain species with some peculiar characteristic. The recommended forest cover is about 33% of the geographical area. In India, forest cover is about 24.62%. This is according to a recent survey. Let us see what are the abiotic components in the forest. We have studied the structure of ecosystem. In that, we have discussed the abiotic components. They are the non-living factors of the environment. So here, the organic components and inorganic substances like different elements, phosphorus, sulfur, iron, magnesium, calcium, all of these present in the soil, and also various gases present in the atmosphere. Then the climatic factors, that is sunlight, temperature, pressure, direction of the wind, all of these, they are the abiotic components of the forest ecosystem. Also, the organic substances that are found In the forest ecosystem are mostly the plant litter. So the dead leaves, twigs, barks of fallen of trees that are fall from on the ground, all constitute the litter in the forest. So in temperate climates, there is litter accumulation, and that forms the dead organic debris. Let us come to the next topic, that is the biotic component of the forest ecosystem. The first organisms are the producers. We have discussed what do you mean by producers. In forest, producers are mostly trees. So different species of trees are found in different types of forest. For example, in tropical moist deciduous forest, tree species like Tectona grandis, Butea frondosa, Shoria robusta can be found. Tectona grandis means teak. Butea is also known as the flame of the forest or the purus, and Shoria robusta is the sal tree. In temperate forests, trees like pinus, juniperus, citrus can be found. Also, ground vegetation and few shrubs form the producers in the forest ecosystem. See, this is a slide showing images of different species of trees. So first is the teak, second butea or purus, third the sal tree or Shoria robusta, and fourth is the pinus. You can clearly see here that the leaves are needle-like. So previously I mentioned that coniferous forests, they have needle-like leaves. And this is the pole, okay, containing the reproductive structure. Let us now discuss the consumers. The first are primary consumers. Primary consumers or herbivores found in the forest ecosystem include animals feeding on tree leaves, such as insects. Then grazing animals like squirrels, fruit bats. Secondary consumers include snakes, lizards that feed on the herbivores. And tertiary consumers include top carnivores like lion, tiger, eagle. The last community that can be found are decomposers. These are responsible for conversion of complex organic substances into simpler inorganic substances, or they are responsible for the decomposition of dead organisms. So the first are fungi, Aspergillus polyporus are the fungi found in the forest ecosystem, and bacteria like Pseudomonas, Clostridium, Bacillus are the decomposers. Remember one thing, rate of decomposition in tropical and subtropical forests is rapid because the conditions favor rapid decomposition when compared to temperate climates. Tropical and subtropical forests are warm and a considerable amount of moisture is present, because of which the rate of decomposition is rapid in these forests compared to the temperate forests. So this is polyporous or the decomposers, that is fungi. You can see how it is growing on the wood. So they decompose the substratum on which they grow. So we are discussing natural ecosystems, in which the first is terrestrial ecosystem. The first example we have studied is the forest ecosystem. Forests are very important in maintaining the ecological balance. Some forests, you must have heard, Amazon forests, they are rightly called as the lungs of the earth because they help in absorbing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and provide us with fresh oxygen. So forest ecosystem are very important for survival of different biological organisms. So we have discussed what are the abiotic components of forest, also that in different regions of the earth, that is, there is a latitudinal variation. With latitudinal variation, that is climatic variation, we get different types of forest. Equatorial forest near the equator, then tropical, subtropical forest, followed by temperate forest, and last are the boreal and tundra vegetation. And also evergreen forests are those wherein the trees retain their leaves for longer duration. They show stratified arrangement. And deciduous forest, where the leaves of the trees are broad and they shed their leaves during a particular season. Then coniferous forest, with the trees with needle-like leaves. So the producers in the forest are mostly trees, but vegetation, that is few herbs and shrubs, are also present. And the tree species of different forests. And finally, what are the consumers? That is primary, secondary, tertiary consumers and the decomposers of the forest ecosystem. And The rate of decomposition is rapid in tropical and subtropical forests because the tropical and subtropical forests are warm and they have considerable amount of moisture, whereas temperate forest, the conditions are cold and dry, therefore they do not favor decomposition. Now let us look at grassland ecosystem. In terms of characteristics, grassland lies between a forest and a desert. Rainfall is not sufficient to support greater diversity of trees, but it is also more than that of a desert ecosystem. It is a habitat dominated by grasses. That means grasses are the dominant producers in the grassland ecosystem. In India, grasslands are found at the foothills of Himalayas. Then there are mountain grasslands, which are also known as montane grasslands. Example, Cholas of Nilgiri. Nilgiri hills are found in southern India. So this animal you must have heard of, Nilgiri tahar, which is found only in the Nilgiri, Sholas of Shola grasslands of Nilgiri hills. Then there are coastal grasslands. Also, you get grasslands in the fertile plains of rivers. Some of the vast grasslands of India are found in Gujarat, Rajasthan, central India, Maharashtra, and Uttar Pradesh. And you also might have heard of the well known grasslands of the world, which includes prairies of USA, steppe grasslands of Europe, and the savannas of Africa. Therefore, grassland is a ecosystem where you can find some of the unique biological communities. But grasses are present, shrubs are also found. Few shrubs can also be found. And trees like acacia are scattered in the grasslands. You can find them scattered at certain distances. Let us look at the abiotic components of the grassland ecosystem. It includes elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur present in the soil. Also, certain gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen, and nitrates, phosphate, sulfates that are present in the soil. Trace elements or micronutrients. Trace elements include zinc, selenium, and also the physical factors, that is the sunlight, temperature, pressure conditions. All of these constitute the abiotic component. Then the biotic component first are the producers. The producers in grassland ecosystem are grasses like cynodon, cetaria, digitaria, and few shrubs. Trees are also present and they are scattered here and there in the environment. So you can see here the first picture is of cynodon. On the right hand side is cetaria. And to the left bottom is digitaria. These are the grasses that are commonly found in grassland ecosystem. Let us now look at the different consumers. Primary consumers are the grazing animals like cows, deers, sheep, rabbits. Also some of the insects like Bysdelphus feeding on the leaves. There are some of the insects also which suck the plant sap and feed on the plant sap. Then secondary consumers. These are snakes, frogs, lizards, fox, jackals, etc., which feed on the herbivores or primary consumers. The tertiary consumers include birds like hawks. And the decomposers in the grassland are fungi like Aspergillus, Rhizopus, Fusarium, Mucor, and also bacteria. So these are the organisms responsible for decomposing the dead remains. So far, we have discussed forest ecosystem and grassland ecosystem. These are few examples of consumers in grassland ecosystem. On the top, you can see all the herbivores. This is a secondary consumer, fox, and hogs are the tertiary consumers. Let us now discuss desert ecosystem. Deserts are the regions with annual rainfall less than 25 centimeters. Temperature and water conditions are extreme in these areas. Therefore, typical biological communities can be found. Deserts occupy 17% of land on Earth. Deserts can be hot deserts and cold deserts. In hot deserts, the climate is hot and dry. These are found in Central America, Africa, South Asia, and also India. Then the second are cold deserts. Cold deserts are found in Greenland, Antarctica, and also in India. We have Leh and Ladakh as the cold deserts. In these deserts, winters are chilling with snowfall. There is abundant rain throughout the winters. In India, you all must be aware of the Thar Desert, which is a hot desert. Then Ladakh, Leh, Spiti Valley of Himachal Pradesh. These are the cold deserts. Now, in order to survive such harsh climatic conditions, plants and animals show various adaptations or modifications in their structure. Let us first look at what are the modifications shown by the plants. In these plants, the leaves are reduced to thorns. To reduce the loss of moisture to the atmosphere. Then the stem is succulent to store water, and it is also modified to carry out photosynthesis. These plants, they have an extensive branched root system because the plant has to search water. So plants like cactus, acacia are found in the desert. Also, few shrubs and grasses can be found. The plant community is known as xerophytes because they show several adaptations to survive in the desert ecosystem, or they have the adaptations to survive such harsh climatic conditions. Also, a community called ephemerals can be found in desert. Ephemerals are plants which appear immediately after the rain. So these are the few adaptations shown by the plants or the producers to survive in the desert ecosystem. Animals that are found in desert also show certain characteristics or adaptations. Animals that are found in desert are mostly nocturnal. That means they are active at night for feeding. During day, since it is hot due to sun's heat, they try to avoid feeding during the day. Thus, the animals that are nocturnal in habitat can be found in the desert. Then these animals are fast runners. Third characteristic is they conserve water by excreting a concentrated urine. And the reptiles that are found in desert, they are mostly insectivorous. So the animals that are found also show adaptations to survive the harsh climatic conditions. Let us see what are the different consumers in the desert. Mostly reptiles and insects, they are dominant in the desert. Few rodents that are nocturnal can be found. You must have heard of this bird, great Indian bustard, which is endangered bird in the Indian desert region. Then, of course, camels can be found in the desert. The herbivores in desert can be blackbuck, chinkara, then wild ass. This animal is found in Great Rann of Kutch. Then in cold deserts, you might have seen beautiful rhododendrons, then birch trees, then yak, goats, dwarf cows. These are found in the cold deserts of India. So the biological community also is unique to hot as well as cold deserts. Then the decomposers. Deserts are poor in organic matter, and certain thermophilic fungi and bacteria can function as decomposers in the desert ecosystem. Some of the famous deserts of the world are Sahara Desert in Africa, Atacama Desert, which is a coastal desert in South America, then the Gobi Desert of North China, Kalahari Desert of South Africa. All of these deserts, they have certain unique species that can be found there. So today we have seen terrestrial ecosystems. In terrestrial ecosystems, we have discussed the forest ecosystem and how at different regions, different forests are found, how the climate influences the tree species that can be found in these forests. Then this is a recent survey according to which the forest ecosystem or forest cover in India is about 24.62%. Then what are the abiotic components of forests? The biotic component, that in the forest ecosystem, trees are mostly the dominant producers. We have seen the tree species of tropical moist deciduous forest, that is teak, sal. These trees are found in tropical moist deciduous forest. Then tree species of temperate coniferous forest, where they have needle-like leaves and cones instead of flowers. And also you get brown vegetation and shrubs. Then the primary consumers of forest ecosystem, they are mainly the insects, fruit bats, squirrels. Secondary consumers are the snakes, lizards, and then the tertiary consumers are top carnivores. Then examples of certain decomposers: Aspergillus, Bacillus, and we also saw that the rate of decomposition is rapid in tropical and subtropical forest because the climate there is warm and moist, which favors decomposition compared to temperate forests. This is polyporous, it is a fungus. Then we discussed grassland ecosystem, and in India, where different grasslands are found. We discussed about the Shola grasslands of Nilgiri Hills, then different grasslands of world, prairies, steppes, and then the shrubs also can be found in the grassland ecosystem. Then these were the few examples of grasses that are found. Then the primary consumers of grassland ecosystem, cows, deers, sheep, rabbit, insects. Secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and the decomposers. So we have taken examples of each categories of organisms. Fungi like Rhizopus and Mucor can be found in grassland ecosystem. And at the top you can see all the herbivores, and at the bottom fox, which is a secondary consumer, and hawks. Then we discussed about the desert ecosystem, hot deserts and cold deserts, deserts of India, then deserts that are found in different parts of the world, Sahara Desert, Atacama Desert, Gobi Desert, Kalahari Desert. Then we saw the climate of hot and cold desert, how it is different. In cold desert, there is abundant rainfall in winters and with snow. Then we saw how the adaptations are present in plants and animals. Like the stem is succulent, leaves are reduced to thorns, extensive branch root system. In animals, they have adaptations to conserve water. They are nocturnal in habitat, sorry, nocturnal in habit. That means for feeding, they come at night. Then the producers in the desert ecosystem are cactus. Consumers, we discussed that they are mostly reptiles and insects. Certain rodents which are active at night. But the desert ecosystem is poor in organic matter.